Well, everyone, welcome to one of the fireside chats that we've been looking forward to the most. And as is typical with the startup world, initially there were some technical mishaps, but we're here and we're very happy to be celebrating this crowning achievement of the coming together of Femtech India with Boston New Technology in the format of this fireside chat. Stay tuned for other updates in terms of our collaborations, but we are joined here by two truly amazing individuals. And also, you won't be hearing my voice a lot during this chat, so I'm sure everybody's going to be very happy about that. Instead, you'll be hearing from, again, these two great people. So, Shirly Kolet, who is a rock star at New Technology, based in the Philadelphia area, originally from Israel. She's going to be our special host, and she's going to be speaking with Navneet Kaur, who is the founder of Femtech India. So thank you everybody for joining. And now, as I promised, I'm going to go on mute. Shirley, after you. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Steve. Hi, everybody. My name is Shirly Kolet. I'm really excited to be here today to talk about this important matter. We're going to talk about the story and future of Femtech India. What is Femtech in general? Why it is so important to talk about it? Why you should and want to invest in this rising industry, and why you should really care. Like, this is the most important question. Thank you, Navneet, so much for joining us today. How are you?
Hi, Shirley and Steve. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity and giving us platform from India to talk about our mission, vision, and values and what we're building. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much. So, before we dive in to Femtech, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I am based in Bangalore, India. I did my graduation from Griffith University, Australia, and then I decided to come back to my country. I didn't want to study further and do my master's, but I was always wanted to do something my own, and I got into my family business at very early age, so which I did not do my master's, which I'll do it eventually later, I feel, maybe after 2 years now. And That's how my journey started. And before Femtech India, I was building a consumer space in India. I have launched 7 brands from European market, so which is alcoholic industry, very different. It was great experience building from ground up, really working with understanding Indian regulations, getting license part, marketing strategies. Also getting on trade, off trade, working very closely with government of India, handling custom logistics. So it was a really great journey to kind of made me strong and also realize that how businesses are actually done in Indian ecosystem. And I think I did that for 5 years, and I was very excited to know about the ecosystem, what was happening across the globe. I love startups, and startups are, again, great energy. Connecting with so many people, because here in traditional family business you are just doing certain things, and then startups just gives you opportunity to connect with so many like-minded people, right? So I was really excited about overall what was happening. And in even in India we have a lot of unicorns, and then I just discovered Femtech after, when I decided that okay, I wanted to leave this consumer brand space and I wanted to transition into women's health sector. And I feel Femtech has a huge opportunity, and not just opportunity, but it's also making an impact for the society. So, me, born and brought up in India, and there's a huge culture gaps in women's health overall. So, that's how my actually journey started. Actually, so we started Femtech India in 2022.
Amazing. You're leading me exactly to my next question. So, how did you discover Femtech? Why Femtech out of all the industries that are there?
Yeah, so as I said, healthcare was very close to me while growing up, and I was unsure of the term femtech myself, and I think femtech just started to really like raise up in India in 2020 after the COVID hit. And there were a lot of great startups got funding, and all of a sudden there is a sudden boom in the femtech digital health market overall. I would say not just femtech.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
Right.
discovered there's a lot happening in women's health space, which was not part of actually typically our culture in India, really giving personalized care to women's health. And when I discovered the term, I started to do my more research. And as I said, I do not come from healthcare background, but I do have a business expertise building different businesses. And I've done, and I'm really good at my ground up, like building paperwork, really understanding regulation part, how market works, and all that. So um, for me, that I really discovered there are two main major points, problems in not just in India, I would say globally. The one is awareness, and second is funding part, right? So, and of course, when I was leaving my another business and getting into second business, which again I have to build it from scratch, and I was very sure that I wanted to get into something which is completely new. And while I was doing my research, there was nobody in the space who were building ecosystem. So I saw that it was great opportunity as well. And also, along with the opportunity, of course, there was an idea to make an impact. And also, whatever the knowledge or information I have, or how can I just bring best people together and also contribute to the women who are maybe in like in tier 1 cities, but also tier 2 3 cities as well. So honestly, I had no idea about femtech before, I'm being very honest. And I think it was by not just by accident, I wanted to do something in healthcare. And while doing my research and understanding the market gaps, and I saw two major problems, and I thought I wanted to solve those two problems. And I just started to connect with people. And it really started with one LinkedIn post, and I got overwhelmed by so many of response. And I think it was a type form.
Oh, wow.
We put it up on a LinkedIn, and I was like, I would love to connect with companies in female health technology, and I'm building this. And you won't believe, the first 20 companies who signed up, they were the best in the ecosystem in India. So that really gave me confidence that yes, there is a need, people want that. And then I just started to connect one on one to really understand. Got really great support from globally as well. Femtech community overall across the world is very small. There are different ecosystems as well. And I've got amazing support from some of the global players from France, Canada. And those women were just like, you should definitely get into it and start that. And I think that's really how my journey began. And then rest is a story, like we just keep on doing other things. And the beginning part was more of advocacy, awareness, and bringing people together. That was the overall agenda, that how can we do that. And that's how I started.
Amazing. Amazing. Amazing story, really. So you said that before you didn't know nothing about femtech. What is femtech in your eyes now that you know a lot more about it?
Yeah, so if we look at the real term, the femtech is women's health technology, any apps, devices, products which has the technology aspects, and which caters to women's health needs, from menstruation to menopause, supporting women throughout the life, everything, right? But for me personally, femtech is I always look at um, giving a choice to women to decide about their body. Either she wants to get pregnant or she doesn't want to get pregnant, right to have about your gender. And I think it's a freedom. So for me, that giving women that personalized health choice, it is a freedom, and I look at that way. And femtech does not mean that women should be only empowered by digital health. They should also be aware of what rights they have in terms of, when we talk about corporate level, like why women should have rights for maternity leave, why corporate should support women in menopause. So all these things overall empowering. And I think that also giving freedom to women, that hey, we are supporting. And I think building that support system and the culture and the community is very important, because women's body works very differently comparatively men, and women go through so
Right.
many transitions in life, right? So, and they also have so much burden. So I think if we can build that, we can create a better healthy society. And if women are healthy, everyone's is healthy in house, right? So that they are
Right.
backbone.
Exactly. So you decided not only to get the fish to the hunger, like helping women to make better decisions and about their bodies and awareness, but better yet, give them a hook and empower them to teach them how to become entrepreneurs. How do you do that? Tell me a little bit about Femtech India. Let's
Yeah.
get in details now.
Sure. So, Femtech India, we are, as I mentioned earlier, that our mission, goal, and vision, value, our key principles are education and awareness. And I think, which is the one of the major pain point is, this category does not have awareness. So, of course, we do want to bring awareness to this category. So, if this category exists, more people know that, of course, more funding will come and we can empower more startups, right? And which
Right.
typically helps the society overall. So our key principles are education, awareness, and community building, which, building right resources and having supportive community overall for founders and maybe people who are actually passionate about overall femtech or women's health, right? um, and our second vertical is, how do we, coming back to that, how do we make money, what is our business model? Of course, we are not non-profit. So many people think that, we are probably, there are a lot of organizations that doing non-profit work, and I totally appreciate that. But we had no idea even at the beginning to start as a non-profit company. But we do a lot of pro bono work, which is again goes to our company mission values, which is awareness and education, right? Second, that is one vertical. Second vertical is, we work with founders on one-on-one, which is our main part is consulting, business development, GTM strategies, really understanding market size, right? So let's say there are so many, as I said, when you're working or building for digital health, you don't have to have access to one country. You are giving access to the whole world. And I think for femtech, we do need to show to investors as a bigger picture, which cannot be one country size, because as I said,
Hmm.
women were not part of the clinical trials. There was not much awareness, and all of a sudden this segment or industry does not sound very promising to the investors, right? Because they just don't want to see market side, they also want to see validation to make it a right proof concept. So I think that's where we come in, and I kind of work with companies from India for globally we are working with a lot of companies to give them market access for Indian market, which is again doing B2B partnerships. There are so much innovation happening across the world, and in India we don't have that. So how we can also empower existing, maybe clinics or hospital who are working in women's health, and bring some AI part to it, right? Some technology part to it. So it's again, the lot of collaborations, of course. And third vertical is, we will be launching our cohort very soon, which is again, coming back to the why we started what we're doing. Of course, my goal is to build a women's health fund, and I cannot do this alone. This is a long journey, and that's how I will be able to solve two pain problems which I mentioned earlier. One is awareness, education, and second is um, funding part. And I think education and awareness, we are already doing that. We are on our journey, but to get to funding part, of course, we kind of building that, our team strategy and everything. And also kind of empower the startups across the world that hey, be part of this, make better product and services for women across the world, and again just work on one common mission. And I think in that way we can also probably get more investors, more people to invest in the sector. So we kind of do everything around a lot of business side of the things. working with founders, as I said, but also research is something. We're also launching our first white paper next month, which is one of the main things that really giving industry insights, which will have an overall overview of what's happening in India sector wise. So we are doing on fertility, which is launching next month, and after that we will build
Congratulations on
on
that.
something else. So, and I think uh, like research as well, that one of the major, and I think investors love that kind of stuff, when you go fully prepared with
They,
everything,
they want
right?
to see
So they,
facts. They need to see
yeah.
facts. Totally understand that.
Exactly. So
Yes.
I think we have to kind of work on those terms, that okay, like, hey, we also make investors convincing that okay, this is a market, but we as an ecosystem builder, I think there's a lot of responsibility we hold in, as in how do we position women's health, what are the opportunities we bring in, how do we solve problems, even the startups who are in the space, and if they're not able to grow up. So we very strongly work on all these points.
Amazing. You are leading me again to my next question. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about community as a one community enthusiastic to the other. Why community? How does the community helps you reaching out and increasing the networking, helping people across the globe? What makes it so efficient for you and the startups that you're working with?
Yeah, so I think community building is a very important part of, it's like we are creating a family together. It's like, bringing so many people. We all are humans and we're living in different part of the world, and we have a similar problems. So when you bring community together, you kind of figure out how are we solving it in our country, or our really understanding our culture barriers and all that. So I think community building plays a huge role, not just for femtech. I think for any startup, or when you're building in any sector, you kind of bring really strong minds together. So I'm very grateful to connected with I can just count it. I have a friends in every country now, and all those friends and female, they are femtech founders, and it's so great that I talk this thing every day, single day of my life, through my meetings or through people we working with, or and I'm so grateful that that can only happen through when you build a great community, and that
I
kind of
agree.
trust you build in, and people kind of believe in you, that okay, we it's like now also what we are talking, there is a hope, right, that okay, we want to make an impact, and we're working on certain goals, and it's like a trust building, relation building. It's just like creating one strong ecosystem together. So we have there are different ecosystem across the world. We have Femtech France, Femtech Canada. There's one in US. So we all are very well connected, and there are 12 women who started this, and we all of us also have a global once a month like meetup, that where we talk
Mm-hmm.
about our country-wise challenges, opportunities, and all that. So I think it's amazing. And then there are a lot of conferences happening where we plan to meet and discuss that okay, how can we do this. So and I think that trust and the bringing people together, it's a very strong element of community building, and I strongly believe in that. And not just from femtech, but now what you guys are doing also, I'm very sure that there are a lot of opportunity to kind of figure out that sector. Maybe in Boston also there's so much happening in femtech, right? So through that, they can be part of our ecosystem, or we can further help them to explore in other countries. And that's again because of we being part of the community, we are connecting, and we are able to explore resources and opportunities, right?
Right. Exactly. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So, um, now for the challenging question. Could you share with us a challenge or some challenges you had to overcome, and how did you do that?
I think the major challenge for me was because I had a very good, stable business. I was peak of my career, my last company, and I think when you are been building for 4 or 5 years, and you reach that certain point in your career, and you're like, I'm very happy here, right? Because you think now things are actually working, and this is what I worked for myself, and then actually really leaving that and then transitioning into Femtech was quite challenging because first I never worked under anybody. I wasn't part of any startup ecosystem, so I literally have to, like, start from canvas.
Scratch.
Yeah, and like it's just I'm building something very beautiful, meaningful, and it also feels great. But I think everything has its challenges, to be honest. Not as a founder, even if you're working under someone, being an employee, or everything comes with great challenges. But at end of the day, I believe in, when you're passionate about something, you're happy to take those risks, you're happy to go through those challenges every day, and you just want to keep on doing it because you're working towards one goal, and you always remember why are you doing this, right? So I think that
Right.
makes it journey even more interesting. And also challenge has been like really, I didn't have challenge to getting founders on board, but like, maybe connecting founders with the investors, because where I see that they don't see as a femtech as a big sector or industry, or expectations are quite high, and I'm not blaming anything, I think. And I never been gender biased, because all these femtech panels we have, they always ask one question: oh, why they not invest because they are men? No, because I think investor do want to invest, but we as a female founder need to go with the strong, you know value proposition, strong
Right.
model, that strong markets, that okay, they see that okay, there is a potential in this. So and I also feel, I'm not saying, oh, if I mean there are great men, they also being part of and supporting women health companies, but I totally understand they don't understand how female health works, but they do understand business side of the things. And I think founders, they need to do their proper ground up, proper research, and go as a strong, that when you pitching someone, it's also a prep you have to do. So I think that's been a little challenging in femtech sector overall. And even investors are not really convinced with, because if you're just building something, they want innovation. So I think innovation is something that I also really hope that comes in future, but there's a lot happening globally. The second challenge is, one is innovation, and second challenge is market adaptations, because different markets works in very different way. So in India, that we have access to so many things, right? So
Right.
even if I want to book my doctor appointment today, I can just get it for tomorrow morning. But whereas in US, you have a waiting time, right? So, I mean, those are the key barriers. Even if I want to do my diagnostic, I can just book diagnostic online, and guy will come to my house and he will take my blood test. Like, I have access to all those things. So, whereas in US, I mean, nobody will do that, right? I mean, and that's why these are the culture barriers, I would say. Like, certain things, certain markets or products trends are working in UK and US market, where they do not fit for Indian market. So really understanding the market gaps is very, very important. If we look at digital overall, that India has, we have a UPI, so which is, we are the first in the world to launch UPI payments, which is you can scan the barcode and you can make a payment through your phone. And even if you come to India, there's a guy on street who's probably selling some vegetables. Small example, he
Mm-hmm.
also has online access. So I
Really?
don't have to give him cash. Yes, I can scan and pay. So when we talk about in terms of technology, we are so much ahead. um, Everyone has access to phone. Like, even my maid has a phone, she also knows how to do online transaction, she knows how to. So it's become very normal. But what is still lacking, will overall digital growth is amazing in India. But when we talk about healthcare sector, of course there is a generational gap. Gen Z's, millennials, we are adapting, because we are like, we want to try new things. But whereas our parents, they were not used to adding data in the phone, right? So um, if we when we look at the market, of course we have 680 million women, but the market size is 50%. Even if you look at it, 50% women have, which makes 8.5% of world population, and it's a huge market. And how do you tap that is with a great business model and great planning, and also kind of understanding. So I think it's a very important to understanding the markets and overall like challenges as well, culture barriers and everything.
Right.
Sorry if I made it too long.
No, that was very interesting. So thank you for that. So please share with us a success story and maybe share some good tips for our audience to learn from you.
mm, I don't have like a success story of mine.
Either of yourself or if you want, a company that you're helping right now or a founder that you're helping right now that you want to share their story.
Yeah, so actually there are a lot of stories, to be honest, because there's a lot of exciting work happening, as I said. So I talk to people, someone working in products, someone working on in biotech. Now we're also working with companies in life science, and I think there are many success stories. But one I will just tell you, which has been a really game changer for Indian market, is because in India, as I said, because of the population, and we have the product and consumer space is very huge in India. There's a huge potential, right? So,
Mhm.
what Femtech has done, great revolution of from menstrual pads to switching into period cups, right? And that has been that revolution only Femtech brought to the sector. And now the period cups are more sustainable, they are eco-friendly, and they are reusable, right? So people who probably cannot afford, because we also will have to look at period poverty, right? So we do have a lot of period poverty in India, that where are women in villages, small towns, they don't have access to basic hygiene products, they don't have education awareness, right? So they can't even afford those products, sanitary pads, to use it when they menstruate, because they come from that poverty, right? Our government is doing a lot of great work where they give free sanitary napkin pads and all of that. But looking at population, I mean, there's a still a lot of gaps to be filled, right? So, what period cups has done is that it's like a kind of one time investment, and a woman can use up to 2 years, and she can just reuse it and wash it, and it makes it more
Mhm.
easier for someone who cannot afford every month their menstrual products. So I think that was great, like I think has a huge potential as well, and also kind of worked for so many, not just for people who are poor, but even for regular person who probably want to use menstrual cup, and where we were just throwing so many pads, and there is no recycling, or we don't know the wastage. So those were also harmful for the environment. So I will also look at sustainability part as well,
Mhm.
which Femtech has made an impact, and I think it is a great thing. Second thing I also want to mention, that in Indian market, you know one is the product, I said there. When I look at service part, in India we have IVF treatments, and which in US will probably cost 20 to 30,000 dollars if couple is going for multiple cycles, right? But in India, the one cycle, the IVF cost you 3 to 4,000 dollars. So which also makes it very interesting market for
Right.
global people to come into India if they wanted to get IVF treatments. I mean, egg freezing cost you $3,000 here, and in US it costs you $10 to 15,000. So, it's a great opportunity as well to someone to come. It's an attractive market for medical tourism, and it also companies who are working in IVF space globally, and we have the so many clinics. Actually, I was talking to someone and I was making fun that in US how we have a Starbucks in every corner, in
Mhm.
India we have IVF clinic. Like there's so many now, like literally. And I think that also makes it industry quite interesting, that one is medical tourism, second we don't have a waiting time as US, because you don't get appointments, as I said, right? For if somebody wants to go to treatment, and also the success rates are quite higher comparatively worldwide. So I think those two things, I look at it quite exciting, India as a market. And of course anything in products landscape is a huge, because as I said, there's a population. If you build a right product market, um, that will be a game changer for sure.
Right. That's what's so beautiful about Femtech, that it's not only care about a specific problem, it's actually taking care of other problems that are existed, and
Yes.
it's so beautiful. And I'm so grateful that you're getting your community globally, because I know IVF in particular, this is a worldwide a problem where women are choosing to give birth a lot later in their life, to pursue career, to pursue um, independency, to pursue other things before they get married, and then when they want to give children, they need those things. So
Yeah.
it is really great opportunity for those women to know about this. So
Yeah, yeah. And also, we also started egg freezing drive in India, which we started this year only. It was started in April. And I'm not sure if you're aware of that. New York has hosted first egg freezing parties in the world. That was in, I think,
egg present
2016.
party, I'm not so sure I hear in you.
Yeah, because see, it was again starting a trend and getting more women to know about their fertility options. So preserve your
Hmm.
fertility, and it was kind of, freeze your eggs, free your career. Like this was a thing they used, and quite interesting because, like when we are in this age now, there's a constant pressure of building career, but then you also, thinking that okay, you have to settle down, you have to get married, or you want to have kids, and your biological clock is just ticking, right? So how women navigate that? And I think with the help of technology, we have access to so many things. And I always say that, and we did this drive, and it was quite a good, it was so good. We called it egg freezing parties, and it was so great. So many women were like, "Oh, what is this egg freezing party?" And they wanted to be part of it. And it turned out so great that we actually had embryologist, and she spoke about how do you preserve your eggs. And lot many people had a question because they think it's too expensive, and does it hurt, and women feel all of that, blah blah. And she answered all the questions. And you won't believe, in our first session only, we had 30 women attended, and second day, out of 30 women, 50 women got their fertility assessment done because they wanted to know how are their healthy the eggs are, right? And then out of that, 6 women decided to freeze their egg. And there was a one father, he brought his daughter. He's like, this is what I want to give my daughter. That, he's like, she is like currently working, and she does not have a plans to get married in next 4 or 5 years. So I was just so great because he, with small awareness, how much impact can we make. And I think if we just do it everywhere, like country, as I said, there's a culture barriers and stigma. I think when we have an option, and I think women just need, we just need to bring people to talk about it. And I think they're almost convinced. Like the thing is lacking is stigma and shame, because we feel in society we cannot discuss our problems. But I think it's a time that's why I say community plays a huge role, because you're bringing so many women together and you're creating that safe platform for them. And they then talk about it. And then we did not just talk about egg freezing. Women talk about sexual pleasure, they talk about their mental health, they talk about therapies. So the conversation was so broader. And it was such a great thing that we love hosting events, because that really gives us that, it just gives me that personal thing, satisfaction, that okay, what we're doing has an impact too. But we're
Right.
also changing so many women's life, because now they have awareness and education about their body, and they can decide, they have a right. So again, coming down to overall building freedom for women to have a choice and live their life.
Right. Amazing. And
Yeah.
for my final question for the day, what is your motto that you go by?
Mm, I think I don't really, for me, I'm someone, I wouldn't give up. And I think also we as a women think that we are never ready, um, and we are never fully ready. So don't wait for perfection. If you have an idea, if you have something, please start. And I think you will find a people along the way that would support you. And then consistency and hard work goes hand in hand. You cannot compromise on that. And I think whereas if I look at, we women are so particular about that, we always want to be the perfect and perfection. And I think growing up also, because how society has put women beauty standards and everything, and that's how we look at it, right? And I think that really taught me through my, like, I've learned through my entrepreneur journey that it's okay, you don't have to be perfect to everything. There's nobody to impress, right? So I follow that. End of the day, what I'm doing, why I'm doing. And I wanted to work on myself, that how I can become better leader, or even make a more impact that overall. So I think um, I don't believe in perfection. I believe in taking actions, learning, and building from there. So don't wait, I would say, anyone, just like start. um, we will always kind of things that how to make it perfect. Like, there's never perfection. We always gonna keep on making changes, keep on getting better, and the right time never comes. This is
Mm-hmm.
the right time now to start a business, to start an ecosystem, to build a space. And I think so many people told me also, Femtech does not have any potential, why are you doing this? But like, I'm not doing, I'm building for future. And I know future going to be digital health only for across the world, right? How technology is adapting. So it is very important, we must adapt as well what's happening overall.
Right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. If there are female founders here in this audience, right now is the time. And if you have any question, Navneet is here to help you take your first step and I guess the second step to help you find your connections, go to market, funding, right?
Yeah, I think I'm also kind of still learning. For me, also, there's a long journey to build on, to get better, and I love that. I think that's only startups can do that. Building connections, connecting with people. There's endless opportunities to build, learn, and grow as a person. And the more you start, it's just that you have to find your passion. And as I said, again, coming down to that, you need to enjoy the process. Why are you doing this? Because not every day going to be good. You have some days which are very hard, and you don't give up on those days, right? So but you still decide to do that because you are working towards something. So I think that is very important for me whenever I have those days, or that certain disappointments. And startups are exciting because all of a sudden it gives you excitement, like, oh, something great comes up. And sometimes it's so disappointing that you don't know how to handle that. So I think that also having that kind of mentality and positive mind is very important to navigate, to have strong team, and also give them that support, that if you don't bring that positivity, your team will not run it, right? So I think the founder has a lot of responsibility to be a positive, strong in the team. That sometimes your team has bad days, but they will go through it. If you bring that positivity, you bring that space for them. And I think it's a long, long journey, and endless learning. We always learning and growing.
Right. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for motivational and inspirational interview. I'm
Thank you
giving the
so much.
stage back to Steve if you're
I don't.
hearing.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to take the stage back. I'm not sure. So what I was doing, just to let the both of you in on what I was doing in the chat, me and Mehmet were talking about all this, and we're so happy that this was able to happen today on Ecos. This convergence of all these different communities together. So I also want to thank Melis and Buka and everybody at Ecos for making this possible. But this, was a very inspirational and impactful time. Um, Not going to lie, it was somewhat emotional for me because I've been working so hard on trying to, get these alliances happening, and I feel like this is going to be a watershed moment for Boston New Technology because, like from its inception, it's always been about community, And Navneet, I wanted to say that you probably see it in the chat. You said like so many things that I just put quotations around because they were just so powerful, and I'm going to make sure that a lot of our Boston New Technology team members, when we do like the event recaps and the sharings, like that they have those as headlines, because I think that, to Shirley's point, especially female founders, people who are like the hesitant dreamers, the active seekers, the prime opportunists among us, they do need that like empowerment. But I've also made a decision that I was talking about with both of you today that I want to also say before we close it out. So, I've been doing the Boston New Tech Fireside Chat series now for a couple months. We've hosted quite a number of them. Today was very different because in both of the episodes we did, I had a co-host. So I had my other friend who's also named Steve, actually, and we did something with Sharita from Silicon Valley Bank. And today, Shirley, you were so wonderful, as my co-host. But I am going to be actively trying to find more opportunities to have other people from the new technology community host. I'm more than happy to set things up, but I think that the beauty of Boston New Technology and the beauty of Femtech India is that we are all so many people together working towards the same goals. And we should have different voices, different perspectives. You have both taught me this. I want you to know that as well. You have both taught me this and given me this lesson that I cherish. So I want everybody to know. I mean, they'll know because they'll be watching this on YouTube, but just in case, the way these things work is we're also going to spread this out throughout the community. And I am so looking forward to the future. I want to thank you both. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will all see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so
Bye.
much.